Did anything printed?
Wanda Fabre is on the video here.
Hi, guys. Oh.
And we're still waiting for a couple of board members to connect.
Yes. There's a whole other set of people over here.
Since Catherine's here, I'm using a new mic. Can everybody hear me?
A little bit soft, Catherine.
Okay, let's see that that doesn't, can't make it better. I'll put a new one on. Okay, we'll go back to the old wired mic. Okay, I'm assuming people are still coming in.
Yes.
Okay.
So Catherine, we have multiple pages of people tonight, so you have to flip back and forth between page one and
Okay.
page two to see everybody.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Well, why don't I just start writing names down? So I see Julie's iPad.
That's me,
Okay, Julie, what's your last name?
Johnson.
Julie Johnson. Okay.
I'm the seller.
Oh, you're the seller. Okay. Then we've got Greg Smith and Mike Kusamo.
Cusimano.
No, James.
I'm here.
Okay, so is the W silent?
No,
Twombly? Oh,
Twombly, just as it's written.
Twombly. Okay. And we got Paul on and a Derek
I did on my computer in the other room. That's why I came in here.
and a Mo.
Oh, I thought you.
I've got somebody whose last four digits are 8381. Hey, Gerald, can you mute yourself while you get your technology resolved? So last four digits, 8381.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, is that you, Gerald?
Yes, it's me.
Okay, okay.
So I'm only going to speak on behalf of the ACC.
Okay, that's fine. I'm still taking down names at this point, so hold on. Okay, I got Lisa Cummings and Chris Lambert. And Michael Hacker.
Yes.
Okay, AECK. And Kristen Burdan.
That's right.
Okay. PRDAN. Diana Boston.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sherry Johnson.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Got Jana and Cindy Glenn. And Derek is here also. Okay. Paul. Gretchen Smith. David Flores.
Hello.
And we've got Rafi here. And Carrie Sylvester.
Hello, Carrie Sylvester's here.
Okay. And Usha's here. And okay, so somebody's got their TV on in the background if you'd like to mute yourself. Somebody whose last four digits on their phone number is 8195. 8195.
Yeah, that's me, Catherine. Again, I got my phone running as well as my computer.
Is that Gerald?
No, Greg.
Yeah, somebody needs to put their phone on mute. There we go.
The result of that many times in terms of the 7-foot-high fencing around the Capitol and the barbed wire.
Okay, whoever's got the show on about the fencing around and the barbed wire around the Capitol, they need to shut it down.
You can mute them.
I don't have that well, we don't know who it is at this point. Who's the last four digits? 2124 or 2141?
Yeah, that's Pete Lipscomb.
Okay.
Mute somebody. The one that's 9107 is the one that has the TV going in the background.
We don't need 8-foot-high concertina wire.
Turn down the TV.
9107. Bill, can you mute that that person, please? Okay. And 0081.
That's me.
Okay, that's Chris. Okay. Okay, so Michael Gilsback. I don't think I've got you on here. Okay, I've gone through both. Carrie Sylvester, did I have you? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm going to just go through the names that I have. And if I miss you, I'm going to ask you that you give me a shout out. So I've got Julie Johnson, Greg Smith, Mike Kusamo, James Twombly, Paul
That's okay.
Paul Rabigo. I've got a Derek and Mo. I've got Gerald, Lisa Cummings, Chris Lambert, Michael Hector, Kristen Burden, Diana Boston, Sherry Johnson, Jana, Cindy Glenn, Derek. Boy. I think it's Borden again. Gretchen Smith, David Flores, Raffi, Carrie Sylvester, Usha Davy, Greg Smith, Pete Limsum, Chris Rocco, and Michael Gilbach. Is there or Gillisbach? Is there anybody who's popped on since I started taking lists and I missed them? No? Okay. Well, it's okay. I think we've got them all. So let me go ahead and I'm going to call this meeting to order because we have so many people who wish to speak. Our rules say that you're going to get 1 minute for a public comment and then 1 minute to adjust to address an agenda item. So let me start with Julie Johnson. Did you want to make? Hold on. Let me make this easy. I'm going to make the assumption that everybody wants to make a public comment tonight. What I'm going to do is go through and ask if you want to speak to another specific agenda item. So why don't I start with Julie Johnson? Did you want to speak to an agenda item?
I think it's agenda number 4.
Okay. And Chris Smith.
Is that Greg Smith?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Greg Smith. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to speak to agenda item 4 as well.
Okay. And Mike Kusamo.
It's up here. Hey, we got it. Yeah, agenda number 4.
Okay. Thank you. And James Twomby, which agenda item would you like to speak to?
One or the other. Okay.
Number 4.
Okay. And Paul Rabigo.
I give my time to James Twombly.
No, that is not part of our rules. You can use your time for yourself, but you cannot give your time to other people.
Okay.
So would you like to speak to,
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4.
Okay. And I had a Derek.
I'm just observing. It's for point number 5 on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. And Mo, did you want to make a public comment? I mean, speak to an agenda item?
Number 4.
Number 4. And Gerald, did you have an agenda item that you wanted to speak to? I will circle back. Lisa Cummings.
I'm observing right now.
Okay. Okay. And Chris Lambert.
I'm here about number 6.
Number 6. Okay. And Michael Hacker, did you have an agenda item you wish to speak to?
Yes, I'd like to speak to agenda item 4.
Okay. And Kristen Borden, did you have an agenda item?
Number 4, please.
And Diana Boston, an agenda item.
Number 4, please.
And Sherry Johnson, an agenda item.
No, I'm just listening and I don't have a public comment either.
Okay. And Jana, did you have a agenda item?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. No, I don't. Thanks.
Okay. Did you want to make a public comment?
Maybe. Can I say maybe?
Yes. That's
I'm working on
fine.
it. Okay.
Okay, Cindy, did you need to, you wanted to speak to an agenda item?
No, I just want to make a public comment.
Okay, and Derek Borden, did I get you already?
No, you didn't get me.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to number 4. Thank you.
Okay, and Gretchen Smith, an agenda item?
No, thank you. I'm observing. Thank you.
Okay, and David Flores, did you have an agenda item?
Yes, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Okay, and Rafi, did you want to make speak to an agenda item?
Number 4, please.
Okay, and Carrie Sylvester, did you want to speak to an agenda item?
Number 4, please.
And Usha Devi, did you want to speak to an agenda item?
No, thank you.
Okay, and Greg Smith, did you have an agenda item?
You've already got me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll speak again if you want.
Well, you can speak to more than one agenda item if you had more than one item that you wanted to speak to. But that's fine. Okay, I just wrote you down twice. Okay, Pete Limsom.
No comments.
Okay. And Chris Rocco, did you have an agenda item?
No.
Okay. And Michael Gillibach, did you have an agenda item?
Item number 4, please.
Okay. Okay, so while I was going through that, Bill, did anybody else pop in at the end? Can you hear me?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. You'll recall Gerald Burgess didn't respond to you first round.
Oh, you're right. Gerald, what agenda item did you want to talk to? Gerald.
I don't think he has one, Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a comment on 4. So
Okay, you want
if y'all have-
yeah, you want to comment on number 4? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
No.
Okay. So, Jimmy Sagnes, can you be my timekeeper?
Yes, ma'am, I will. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to call your name, and if you can make your public comment and you'll have a minute, and Jimmy will call time, and if you go over, please be respectful and stop. And then if you can go ahead at that time, announce that you're going to start your public comment, and then Jimmy will restart the clock, and you'll have a minute for your to make a comment about your agenda item. Okay. Chris, I'm just going to go ahead and start with you. Did you have a public comment?
I have no public comment.
Chris Rocco?
No. Wrong, Chris.
No,
Chris.
I told you I didn't have a comment.
Oh, I thought I thought it was just for an agenda. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so let's start with Julie Johnson. Do you have a public comment?
I have a public comment. Thank you for listening to me. I sent you all a letter today. What? I sent you all, the board, an email today detailing in more what I'm about to say, but I'd like to tell you that this contract was put to me deceptively and misleadingly. And if I had known what the intention of Rafi was, I never would have sold the house to her. I am absolutely sick the way it's turned out. I feel like I've ruined the neighborhood, ruined my friends, subjected them to financial loss, ruined the neighborhood, and subjected my neighbors to a very unsafe condition because of the parking and the fire damage and the traffic in that crowded little cul-de-sac. I don't know how I could ever live with the fact if an ambulance couldn't get through to an emergency call, and
Time.
something happened to one of the neighbors.
Time. Okay, thank you, Julie. Now I'm going to go on down the list to Greg Smith. Do you have a public comment?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, and you want to make a comment about agenda item 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Article 2A of the deed restrictions explicitly limit the use of each lot solely to single-family residential purposes. On the last meeting on February 24th, I heard Bill Flickinger say, well, we don't enforce this deed restriction, or we don't enforce that. We, as the residents of Anderson Mill West, expect the board to enforce all of the deed restrictions. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go in and do DNA tests on people, but when other members of the community bring deed restriction violations to your attention, we expect you to enforce all of them. I circulated by email to all of you yesterday, moveon.org petition, which included 78 signatories as of last night, and it's up to 81, expecting the same from you. I was also the one that forwarded Ms. Johnson's letter and some correspondence relating to the deception that the buyer had in the acquisition of the property. I hope you all got that. So my trust in Ms. Sapir, that she's telling us everything that's going to be necessary for this building as she asks for parking accommodations or any accommodations, is very.
Okay. Mike Kusamo, you have an agenda. Did you have a public comment?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Start.
Okay. It's great. About agenda number 4. We keep talking about safety issues, the traffic, the additional traffic. It was already congested before this possible business coming in. We are definitely scared for all of our neighbors, including and especially the tenants that she'll be taking, because they are elderly. They are apparently going to be disabled, and they're not going to be able to move around as easily as we will be. Just imagine if there's a fire, they may not be able to get them all out because Ms. Sapphire said that they're going to have 2 to 3 caretakers. In addition, the EMS first responders are going to have a hard time getting in. There are 20 parking spaces that I noted. There's 12 on normal that are filled. So, and that's without events for the elementary school or sporting events. And we're on the Travis Williamson line, making it very difficult to determine who's supposed to come out and handle any problems that we're having.
Stop.
Okay. Paul Rabigo, do you have a public comment?
Yes, I just want to say public comment that we've gotten a lot of different information, and they've been the people trying to put this assisted living facility in our neighborhood have been giving us different information as to what type of care was going to be provided, what type of facility was going to be there. And they finally, they wouldn't give us direct answers. In the call yesterday, they finally said they're going to get a Class B license, which allows up to 16 people in a facility like that. So we finally got some clarity on that, and that's my public comment about the new people.
Okay. Did you want to speak to an agenda item?
No, I think there's going to be enough people.
Okay. Derek, did you have a public comment?
Which Derek?
I'm sorry. I only wrote down one last name. So let's go with, hold on. Derek Borden.
Sure, that's pretty Ann. Yeah,
Okay.
no public comment. I'll just speak to the agenda item.
Okay.
I guess I could use both time, but yeah, I just want to also agree with the others on this. Obviously, concerns of safety, also just concerns of people coming in and using lax deed restrictions to be able to come in and manipulate a house to basically become an apartment complex. Under the shield of ADA and community home, when really it's as seen in her research, it's clearly it's a house hack. It's a method of using a single family type home and turning it into an apartment complex / commercial business. And I simply don't think that's right. I'd like to see those deed enforcements enforced, and for the board to understand clearly what this is, which is not about good care for the elderly. It's simply about making money and having bigger pockets if you're the owner. That's my comment on the agenda item. Thanks so much.
Okay, why don't I jump to the other Derek?
No comment, just observing. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Cindy Glenn, you had a public comment?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. When I moved my family to Anderson Mill West in 1999, I considered the schools and the neighborhood. Deed restrictions are very important. I grew up in a great neighborhood, and that's what I wanted for my family. The parks have been upgraded, a wall, more streetlights were added, wonderful events. The neighborhood was blossoming. And then one day, Linda Fobb started demanding open records requests, costing us hundreds of thousands of our tax dollars. Linda used the open records to send emails to residents, spreading falsehoods and campaigning for a board position. She's now a board member and has repeatedly declared that she is not working for the board. Linda, you took an oath to work for the board, to represent all residents. It's time for you to resign from the board. You are not in it for our community.
Okay. Mo, did you have a public comment?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So on the public comment, how does the board communicate about meetings to the community? Unfortunately, not all of us are allowed to be on the Nextdoor app, where a lot of this communication happens. Last year, many of us were blocked because we raised questions or posted information that happened in these meetings. One of the people controlling our neighborhood app was in the ballot for elections and blocked people out of it. Not sure how fair it is, but this person is a board member now. And as a state employee, is she still allowed to run the Nextdoor app and block people at her convenience? I feel like this is a conflict of interest. I see other board members being a part of this app, and when there is an issue they feel the MUD needs to be aware of, they refer the member to the website or invite them to a meeting. A meeting headed by this member of this board happened this weekend, and very few people that actually live in the area concerning this issue were aware of. Why? And then under 4, are we a commercial zone?
Oh, I'm sorry. She was starting her agenda item, Jimmy. So go ahead and Mo, and start your agenda item number 4.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. In relation to the assisted living home in Dagama Court, are we a commercial zone on this residential area? What about our deed restrictions? This is a lovely idea for our elderly, but you have to think of their safety. 9 elderly residents and actually 10 with their caregiver in a small home. I don't believe there's enough room for all of them, their wheelchairs, lift if they're needed. How many bathrooms are you going to have in this small home for these 9 residents? And the ratio of the residents per caregiver doesn't sound right at all. Now, taking in consideration the traffic issue, it's not just a problem for the cul-de-sac. The traffic will increase in the whole section. Visitors, ambulance, fire trucks are going to have to drive through the smallest streets of Anderson Mill to get there. El Salido is closer, but children's safety become an issue, having the elementary school and the park in the corner. I love the idea of a home for the elderly, but having it there is not the best location. Bigger streets like El Salido, Old Mill, Cypress Creek can handle traffic a lot safer.
Okay. Gerald, did you have a public comment?
I'm sorry. No, I don't. I apologize. I wasn't very clear. I'm just listening tonight. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Chris Lambert, do you have a public comment?
The only public comment I have is that I noticed on the website that it's showing areas where limbs have been picked up, and I can tell you for a fact Old Mill and Madeline Loop has not been picked up yet. It's marked off. And then in regard to number 6, since I'm the president of the HOA for the Hunters Glen Section 1, I'm here just to let y'all, if y'all have any questions or concerns about 6.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Michael Hacker, do you have a public comment?
Am I allowed to have both a public comment and speak to an individual item?
Yes, you are.
And that would be 1 minute each? I just
Yes,
don't know the
yes, it
rules.
is. Yes.
So the public comment I have is, first of all, I really appreciate y'all having a forum where we could speak to y'all. Me and my wife Janice, we bought a house in Anderson Mill West on Degama Court. I wanted to speak publicly to the idea of the deed restrictions. You know, cul-de-sacs are not that, I mean, they're fairly rare in an overall community like Anderson Mill West. And we, all of us who bought a house there and other cul-de-sacs, we did it specifically because we were looking for the kind of environment a cul-de-sac offers, which includes the ability to, to perhaps have your kids, you know, play in the open area at the back, to be able to, you know, not have too much traffic. That doesn't always work out with all cul-de-sacs, and I'll hold my comments on that to item 4 here in a minute. But I just, you know, as a law-abiding, neighborly guy, Eagle Scout, you know, I like to be friends with people. I'm welcoming of people who are in need. And I think it's a great idea to have these residential communities. But I really think the board needs to consider not just the applicant's interest, but the interest of the people who are homeowners and have been there for 20 years, like Janice and I have been. With respect, and let me just ask you, can I share a screen or not?
I don't think we're.
I'll take that as a no, but
Yeah,
I can see share screen here. Well, I was going to speak about the overall area here, if I could. And am I still talking on item 1? I mean, on public, or am I on item 4 now? I mean, seriously, I didn't hear the time called.
I've allowed you to go to item 4.
All right. So with respect to this cul-de-sac is very long and very narrow. In addition to the traffic that we have from regular operations of just our family and friends, I was very surprised when I first got there to learn that the park that we're right across the street from, the athletic park, has many events where people fill up our cul-de-sac with cars. Same thing happens with the elementary school that's right next door. People will either drive and turn around in our cul-de-sac, or they'll come park for an event. And then, of course, there's the park adjacent to the east side of Degama Court houses, which also has events from time to time. So we all at Degama Court have learned that traffic, parking, the possibility of interference with emergency vehicles is a real thing we've all had to live with for 20 years. And we would be very disappointed, and in case you're not catching, I dissent on item 4. I wish that we could defer this perhaps to another time when there could be a more in-depth look at the various requests for variance that the item 4 is requested. Thank you.
Time. Thank you.
Jana, did you have a public comment?
Hi. Yeah, I'm just here in support of my neighbors, as I have done for the last 10 years. Not only Anderson West, but Valente Hills, Hunters Glen, Lakeline Oaks, and just everybody in the entire MUD. And so I am just here to listen in. Thank you.
Okay. David Flores, did you have a public comment?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to see that there's so many people on this phone call and participating in our neighborhood business. Unfortunately, it's not a positive reason for everybody, but may be that whatever it is, I would like to ask everybody to consider continue joining, continue paying attention to our business in our MUD district. There are a lot of things that need to be fixed that need your help as well. It's not just this issue, but there are many issues that are going to need all of our help to improve and better our neighborhood for the future. And I guess I'll move on to number two.
Number 2, yes.
Number 2, I wanted to talk about Sage Management's performance. I believe that Sage Management is failing us as a deed enforcement contractor. I believe that they are very unprofessional in the way they handle themselves and talk to the residents. There are multiple times that I have reached out to them and very disappointed in their responses, very unprofessional. Number 3, I had a boat on Dayflower Trace numerous times. I emailed the DRC committee, which is Catherine Frankie and Beth Jones, with no response. So very disappointed that I did not get a response back from the DRC committee. And this boat has been here in the past and has gone to legal. And now when I state and send pictures about this boat, I get the response that I should ask for more deed, more to Sage Management to come by more often, which I believe that they haven't earned that money, and I will not give them a dime more because they're not performing the way they should. So I'm just a little disappointed on how the board and the DRC are handling this boat on Dayflower Trace. Number 6,
You still there? David?
hello?
Yeah, we're not hearing you. Sorry.
What did you hear?
We heard you say number 6.
Okay, number 5. It was the.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, I thought you missed the whole thing.
Okay.
Number 5, the unique animals. Linda Fobb has spoken about this in the past regarding how one neighbor is treated differently than another regarding special needs and animals. So I'm just not in favor of preferences. I think everybody should be treated equally, and our deeds should be enforced the way written. That's it for that one. Number 6, I believe that I'm trying to pull up the agenda. What was number 6 again, Catherine?
Request for by Hunters Glen HOA for non-enforcement of deed restrictions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe that the board should enforce it. There's a lot of streets in Anderson Mill West that I've spoken to neighbors that they don't like the enforcement of it and they would love to change it. But unfortunately, we have a deed and we should follow the way to change our deed. So it'd be unfair for Hunters Glen to stop enforcement. They should work hard to work with the neighbors to change the deed so then they could have on-street parking. I think that is the correct way to handle it, not just not enforce it and just let it slide, because there are other neighborhoods that have the same issue and they don't have an HOA to represent them, and they should go about changing their deed not to have that enforced, to take it off their deed.
Okay. And Rafi, you're next. Did you have a public comment?
For those who I have not met in person or on the call, the open call that I hosted last night to address questions, my name is Rafi. I am the owner of the home on Dagama Court that has stirred up a lot of dialogue here. And I want to thank everybody for taking time to learn more about our intentions. And, you know, I just want to share that I want to do this because from my own experience navigating care for my grandparents, I saw what the options are and what you get for what you pay for. And I spent a lot of time learning about how we could give more for our aging families. 70% of us are going to be in the position where we need long-term care, 70%. And unfortunately, not everybody can afford to stay in their home.
Okay. Okay, so that was a minute, right, Jimmy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Rafi, you can still speak to agenda item 4 for a minute if you want to.
I don't think I'm going to change anybody's mind today. I think there's a lot that we need to show, not tell, and that will happen over time. And all I'll leave you with is, I've heard, well, what happens if this is allowed? Like, what does that mean for our neighborhood? And I just want to say, we're all going to need care. And what happens if we don't allow this? What does that mean for us and our families? That's it.
Okay. Carrie Sylvester, did you have a public comment?
No public comment. I'll just speak to agenda item 4.
Okay.
Okay, so for agenda item 4, our main concern, Article 2, as I think the first gentleman stated, that the deed restrictions is that our homes are reserved for single family use. And the board is choosing not to enforce it, and that's not acceptable in any way. As homeowners, we agree to deed restrictions, and we live by those restrictions every day, and all homeowners should be treated the same, regardless. I could restate all the safety issues. I live across the street from the courtyard, and see all of the children and the events that happen right in this area. So I do have a concern about traffic, the inability to be able to park, as well as the ability to have that many people in that home. But my main issue is that the board should not have the right to choose what they want to enforce or not enforce in our deed restrictions. If you want to change the deed restrictions, we should vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and Usha Devi, did you have a public comment?
No, thank you.
And nothing, and no agenda item.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And Michael Gillibach, did you have a public comment?
I don't have a public comment, no.
Okay, and did you want to speak to an agenda item?
Yes, item number 4, please.
Okay, go ahead. You're up.
So yeah, I definitely want to reiterate my concerns. I share the same concerns as the previous speakers with regards to safety and traffic and the appropriate use of the property. It's very troubling to learn that the board is arbitrarily deciding to enforce or not enforce certain deed restrictions that we've all agreed to, particularly ones that are as important as the determination of that you can't run a business from a home, which is what we're talking about. We're talking about a for-profit business being run out of a house like this. And it's troubling from a precedent standpoint. I mean, if that's the case, then why can't I run a B&B or a halfway house for drug addicts or a homeless shelter or any number of things that I could set up and run out of a home that would violate the deed restrictions that we supposedly all agreed to? That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Catherine, can you hear us?
I think we lost Catherine for
I
a
think
second.
we lost Catherine. She'll be right back. But
Yeah, hold on.
yeah, we lost her.
Let's give her a minute to come back.
So can I say something else since we're supposed to be, we have dead time here?
Under the rules, you're limited in what you can say, so please don't.
All right. I want to though.
I know, please don't. We have a couple more people that need to speak still, so let's give Catherine a minute. Okay, she's logging on now. Hold on. Catherine, are you back?
Not yet.
Okay, she lost her internet. She's gonna call in.
Is it possible for us to move? Is it possible to move forward and get her back later?
Please,
I just lost internet.
let's wait one more minute.
Did I just hear her?
I think so. Catherine, can you hear us?
Okay, start video.
Here she is.
Okay, so can you see me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but the sound is kind of soft on your mic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some earbuds. Hold on, we just lost all the internet in the house. Hold on. Okay. Okay, is that better? Okay. Oh, nothing like a little drama there. Okay, do people hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let me pull up the agenda item. Okay, so has anybody else popped onto the meeting who that I didn't get a chance to make a public comment? Okay, at that moment, at this time, then I'm going to close the public comment.
Catherine,
section.
Wait, hold on a second.
Catherine, there are people on your list that you didn't call yet.
Yeah, James Twombly, I haven't spoken yet. I have a
Oh,
public.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
In Boston.
Diana
Kristen.
Boston.
I thought, I'm sorry. I guess I lost my place. I'm sorry. Okay, so James Twombly, is that who I missed?
Correct.
Yeah.
One of
Okay,
them.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm
Diana
sorry.
Boston as well.
Okay, so hold on, Diana.
Harry, are you speaking?
As also Kristen Burdan.
Kristen Burdan. Okay. Okay, who else did I miss? Okay, let's go back to James Twombly then. James, go ahead.
Public comment. I think this board of directors been elected to represent the residents of this neighborhood. I think you owe all the residents of this neighborhood a fiduciary duty to act in our best interest at all times. And I request and ask that you take that fiduciary duty seriously. And that means you put our interests above your own and put our interests above anybody else, because you're elected to represent us and do what you would in our best interest at all times. And I hope you take that fiduciary duty very seriously. And I have a comment on item number 4. And let me know when I'm starting.
Go ahead.
I don't think we can stop house from coming in. As much as I appreciate Julie being here, and as much as I'm a Shame to Raphael for coming in under false pretenses. And the Fair Housing Act says that they get to come in, but you have to make only reasonable accommodations for that. The case cited by this attorney in this letter, where he doesn't even signal who he represents, says that the Fair Housing Act is not intended to provide carte blanche to the handicapped to determine where and how they would live regardless of the ordinance or restrictions at issue. The requirement of reasonable accommodations does not entail an obligation to do everything humanly possible to accommodate a disabled person. Now, the statute that he cites, 123.006, limits the number of residents to 6. And it limits the number of cars to the number of bedrooms in that house, which is currently 3. Don't allow them to add bedrooms and box in a garage. You have to accommodate them reasonably, but don't let them alter this house and fill that cul-de-sac full of cars and people. Fulfill your fiduciary obligation to the rest of us and don't sell us out for some profiteer.
Time. Thank you.
Okay, Kristen Borden.
Dan, thank you. I'm going to use my first minute just to make a public comment. I think the reason so many of us are here is because Rafaela has started this endeavor with deception, and we don't feel that we can believe anything else that comes forward about this facility. As James reported, this is a 3-bedroom home that's going to become 7 bedrooms. The number of residents that they are claiming to want to house has gone from 6 to 9 to 16 people, including staff. The type of licensure she's applying for has gone from type A to type B. We potentially have people who can't evacuate safely, and a large number of them. And so, yes, we're upset about the public safety, but we're also upset about the conditions that these elderly people will be in, so that there can be many more of them in this small home than there should be.
Time.
Specifically to agenda 4, I have young kids that live in this cul-de-sac. We are concerned about the safety of the neighborhood, as well as the elderly people that will be living in this home. Parking is terrible. EMS response will be slow. We live on the line of Williamson, Travis County. It runs through some of our homes. When we call for emergency support, there is a delay. Who's gonna come? Is it Travis? Is it Williamson? Is it the sheriff? Is it the constable? She will have delays. She did not pick a site that is appropriate for this facility, and we should not grant variances to make it easier for her. If she wants parking, keep the garage. Do not put 2 elderly people in this garage. That solves the parking problem right there. And ask the board to take our safety into consideration, as well as those who will be inevitably in this home. Thank you.
Diana Boston. Public comment?
Thank you. Yes, I would like to take my public comment and use it to speak on agenda item number 4. I would like to respectfully ask that the board not vote on this tonight because there's too many issues at hand. We are a group of law-abiding and neighborly homeowners. We're not opposing residential home care. I myself am a caregiver and see the value in this. It's the location of the home that we have the most concern with. Dagama Court is a small, crowded cul-de-sac. Traffic and parking in this congested court will significantly increase with a facility of 9 to 16 elderly people. Dagama Court already has parking issues that worsen when there are functions at the neighboring park, elementary school, and sports fields, making emergency vehicle access difficult or impossible and block other residents from getting in and out of their driveways. Dagama Court borders both Williamson and Travis County, and when called, emergency services historically struggle to figure out which county is supposed to respond, which significantly delays the response time. And what about water capacity issues? Proposed modifications to the home will add another 1/2 to 1 full bath and a sprinkler system throughout the home. Will this require a water tank next to the house that will create an eyesore from the street? Will this affect water pressure for all of the Dagama Court homes and further? Also, is this a nonprofit or a for-profit facility? We've heard different stories. Only nonprofit organizations are supported by laws to be allowed in a community like this. As we have attempted to gather and disseminate information about this facility, we have been met with opposition all along by our own board member, Linda Faber. Ms. Faber has aligned herself with Ms. Sapphire and interfered with direct access to communicate with Ms. Sapphire. Ms. Faber invited her friend David Flores to antagonize a private court meeting with Ms. Sapphire. Ms. Faber has acted inappropriately as a board member on social media. Because of all of these concerns, I respectfully request that any votes on agenda item number 4 be delayed until further information and discussion can be had. I would like to respectfully request that we have a separate meeting on this agenda item, as 2 minutes to speak is not enough time to thoroughly explain our issues.
Fine,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, have I now got everybody? Okay. And I apologize for that mishap. I got out of order and I missed some of them. Okay, so at this point, I am now going to close the public comment section of the meeting. And I am going to jump down to agenda item number 9, future board meetings. And the reason I am jumping to agenda item 9 is because I think that the issue that has been raised in the public comments and what is basically would be the majority of the meeting moving forward needs to have its own special board meeting. And so I would like to propose, let me get my calendar up. Okay, so let's take a look at the calendar. We've got the standard board meeting on this Wednesday, and then the follow-up board meeting is on the 24th. So I'm thinking the 29th or the 5th. Does somebody have any other comments or suggestions? And so what I'm proposing is, and it might be possible, maybe the best thing to do is we might even want to push it back even further, because I think that there's an awful lot of research that still needs to be done. So we need to make sure that we make this board meeting at such a time that questions that have been brought up will have had a chance to percolate through, and we have answers to some of them. So I was going to think like April 5th. Do the other board members have any suggestions? Bill, what's your calendar looking like?
Yeah, if you're going to do it in the evening, I'm fine. April 5th is fine. That's a Monday.
Okay. Yes.
Is there a way that we could is there a way that we could, what weekend is Easter?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know when Easter is. Sorry.
Is there a way that we could do it the 12th?
Yeah, we can do it anytime. Is April 5th Easter?
I think it
I
is
don't know.
that. Well,
Yes, April 5th is Easter.
if we could do
well
the
then-
12th.
Sorry, the 4th. The 4th.
Yeah, let's do the 12th. That gives people time to get back.
Okay. So April 12th. Then
Yes.
okay. So we're gonna have a special board meeting on April 12th. The only agenda item is going to be this request for the accommodation for the Fair Housing Act. What I'm hoping is that we will get the HOAs for Lake Pine Oaks, Valente Hills, Hunter's Glen to be part of the meeting, and get board members from the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association to be part of this, because this is really needs to be a community discussion, because It just happened to fall in Anderson Mill West, but this could just as easily have been in Hunter's Glen or Lake Line Oak or Valente Hills, where this issue was coming to fruition. So that's what I'm going to put that on my calendar. Do the other board members have any other suggestions that before we all agree on April 12th?
What time, Catherine?
Do we want to start this at 6 or do we want to start this at 6:30?
Whatever.
Do we have any?
And some of the
I'm
residents,
indifferent. If other
it would be nice if some of the residents can share what's easier for them, seeing how we're doing this for them.
6:30 would be.
Can we open that for them, Bill? Can we get an idea of what a few of them would like? Can we open that for them for a few minutes?
Sure.
6:30, please.
6:30.
Okay.
6:30.
And you know what? Listen, the board meetings have traditionally been at 6 and 6:30. Since this is really about community input, if 7 o'clock makes more sense, I'm agreeable to that. So, so just think about, is 6:30 going to work, or would it be easier if it was 7?
6:30 sounds fine.
Okay, well then we will keep it at 6:30. Okay, then in keeping with, in preparation for the April, what do we say, 12th board meeting, I'm going to create an ad hoc subcommittee right now that is going to have Beth Jones and Megan Dudo on it. And the whole purpose of this ad hoc subcommittee is going to be to work through the issues that all of this, that this assisted living facility is going to bring to us. The way I'm looking at this is, and I think James Twombly said it best, he says, it's about reasonable accommodation. And at this point, we don't know what the definition of reasonable is until we get more information back from Rafi. And specifically, we're going to need to get her final licensing information. Bill, correct me if I'm saying any of this incorrectly. At this point, she doesn't have a finalized plan, in the sense that she doesn't have her license, etc. So we don't know what the rules are that she's actually going to be operating under. Am I saying that correctly? And it's once we get those details from her, that's when we can actually start looking at the Federal Housing Act that she is citing, and the case law that she is citing, and the state licensing guidelines that she's going to be under, for us to then sit down and have an understanding as to what her accommodations need to be and what is going to be the reasonable accommodation for her facility on Dagama Court. Have I misspoken any? Have I misspoke anyway, Bill?
No, that's accurate. We have the letter that was in the agenda packet from her attorney. And it sounds like after that letter was written, there have been some changes, some modifications to the plan, the number of residents, the way they're going to approach it, what laws they're coming under. So to evaluate it correctly, we do need hopefully a modified letter from the attorney, but we need specifics on what the plan is now. The use they're going to have, the number of residents, if they are going to have licenses, what licenses, because the original letter was not as discussed tonight.
Okay.
Right. And
Other-
it's changed.
Bill,
About
did somebody submit a change from the letter you received from the attorney? Was there a change submitted to you? The
No.
original request, was it?
There's not a written change. We had a conversation with the attorney this afternoon, and the confirmation was that it's going to be 9 residents, and none of the caretakers will live there. There'll be 2, but they won't live there.
What about at night? No one there at night?
They're not, we were told, now this is why I'd like to get it in writing, Julie and the rest of the audience. We were told that there'd be 9 residents in the house and the caretakers would not live there.
Wow.
And that's if we do not build the garage, correct? If we don't build out the
None of
garage.
this is accurate. That none of this is
Okay,
not.
so, okay, so hold on.
So that's why,
let's-
Catherine,
But I
that's
want to
why-
understand
that's
it
why we
legally.
need, that's why we need in writing
Yes.
the current details, so
Yes.
we can evaluate.
Yes, yes. Right, and exactly, and the whole purpose is to not try to do that right now, is to try to gather up all the appropriate information so that once we have the final details from the business owner, then we can understand, you know, what it is we have to work with. The
I
other
have one more
thing
question.
that
Okay, Catherine, I have one more
Hey,
question. Who is on the ad hoc committee besides?
I'm really sorry, Julie. Okay.
Have a short question.
Okay, yeah, I understand, but the public comment section of the portion of the meeting is over now. So
Well, I just
there's
want
really not
information on
supposed
the
to be
ad
any
hoc committee.
fact. Okay,
Who
the
are
ad
the
hoc
members?
committee.
She's just asking it. She just
Okay.
wants to know who to contact, Catherine. She's
Yeah, I
asking who to
understand.
contact.
Okay,
Beth
so the
Jones,
ad hoc-
who else?
yeah, and Megan.
Okay, thank you.
So we're gonna create an ad hoc committee. Then once we have the final, the final business plan, so to speak, of what is being proposed to come in, that's when we can sit down and have a better and a more detailed conversation about what the reasonable accommodation is going to be for this facility.
And
One
Catherine,
of the-
can I make
Yeah.
sure that we understand this correctly so that everybody understands that nothing will happen at that property until we have this next meeting and we start to decide what needs to go through legal and figure out what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I think that is the expectation at this point, is
Thank you.
that because we can't make a reasonable accommodation until we have a more concrete and final, I guess, application. The way I have sort of looked at this was, we're gonna have to have a process, and because, you know, this is just the first one. We could have another one in another section at another time, and we need to follow the same process, which means we need to understand what are the rules under which you're operating, so that we can then review the deed restrictions for the property to understand what is reasonable. I bring this up because Lakeline Oaks, Hunter's Glen, Lente Hills, they have one set of rules that for the entire HOA. The Anderson West Neighborhood Association has, in general, I think 5 basic sets of deed restrictions. So it's going to be the accommodations are going to be dependent on what section the house resides in. Okay, so that's that. So we're going to have a future board meeting on the 12th.
I have one more question.
Sure. I'm sorry, Julie, we are not in the public comment section of the meeting. I've closed that part of the meeting.
It's a question, not a comment.
I know, and there is no back and forth in this part of the meeting. Okay, so I'm trying to think. The other thing that I wanted to bring to we needed to think about, and I'm addressing this to my ad hoc committee of Beth and Megan, is that we really need to think about this at all levels. And when I say that, what I mean is we need to have, as part of this process, we're going to need to have a review of the rate order, because the rate order, we redid the rate order last fall, and we have got different deposits based on the type of ownership. You got a deposit level for property owners, a deposit owner for tenants, a property owner for the quads over on El Solito. Now it sounds like we're going to need to have a deposit for businesses doing business in the district. So we are being forced to acknowledge that we have another type of rate order, so to speak, rate for rate. So the other thing that occurred to me is, do we need to what can we do about a traffic study in terms of understanding the traffic on Dagama Court, and can we roll that into maybe we can use this as an opportunity to resolve once and for all how to have responsive EMS. You know, I mean, we hear this all the time from the people who live over in this part of the district, that when you dial 911, you can't get somebody to respond. And then I'm hearing, yeah, they should both show up, and then they argue about who's going to actually take the call. So I'm wondering what we can do in order, and maybe use this to facilitate a solution long-term for the people who live on the Williamson, Travis County lines in our community. Because it's like,
Catherine, I have some questions for you. So what rate order do we use for rental properties? Especially when they're owned by, what do you call those people that own many rental properties? You know, businesses that buy properties and rent them. So what kind of rate order are we using for them?
What I'm talking about, I think, Linda, I can't see everybody, so I'm assuming I was hearing Linda talking.
You are hearing
no, what I was talking about is that in our rate order, we specifically carved out different deposits for the account owner when they are the property owner versus the tenant. And then we have the special, we've got the quads where there are one rate meter, but it's got four apartments on one water meter. What I'm saying is, it sounds like we're going to have forced onto us another type of account owner, and that is business. And that's all I'm just saying, is that if we're going to do this right, let's look at all the pieces of the puzzle. Okay.
Well, Catherine, that would be no different than a company that owns houses and then rents them out, right? That's a business. I'm just saying, put them all in the same rate order. If you want to do that, then I'm not suggesting that's not a good idea. But Lynn, let's put them all under the same rate order, because that would be a business too.
There is only one rate order. The rate order just speaks to the different types. That's all I'm trying to get to.
Okay. Well, they would count as a business as well.
That's not going to be the same, Linda. Sorry. We can talk about it later. It's not going to be discussed tonight.
Well, Beth, I don't think you get to make that call, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I'm saying, if you're going to run a business rate order, it needs to include rental properties as well, because that's a business too.
Okay. Okay. So it's okay.
I think we're pushing the time here. We haven't even figured out if
I know. That's why, yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's time for us now to try to circle back to the front end of the agenda.
Catherine, are we going to come back to agenda item 4? Are we?
Oh yeah. Yes, we're going to come back. What we're going to do?
I have another question about it.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do at this point is, I know that there are some agenda items that are going to take longer than others. So what I'm hoping what we can do is
well, we have everybody on the call from Dagama. Can we do theirs first?
Sure. You want to do agenda item first?
That would be that would help them, so they don't have to be on the call.
Okay, so let's move to the request for reasonable accommodation and a reasonable modification under the Fair Housing Act and Americans with Disabilities Acts. Okay, So I think I'm not exactly sure what else we need to talk about, because at this point, we don't have any action item. We have so much more information that we have to gather. And so I'm just going to turn it over. Megan, go ahead and ask your question so we can, see what else we need to maybe include as part of the ad hoc committee.
Okay. Well, it actually works out fine because Beth and I are also the information management committee. So there's some overlap here. I think one of the important things that's moving forward is the communication about all of this, because there's some complexities associated with this issue, associated with the enforcement of single family and how the district does that, associated with sort of the nuances of this particular proposal versus other sort of group living arrangements. And so I feel like it would be helpful for Beth and I to be able to have the flexibility to put some information together that we can share with the public as we move forward, and post to the website, and working with Bill, of course, to make sure that it's all accurate. And that was something that was sort of absent from this period, the February 24th meeting to now. And it was a really big challenge not having some accurate information on the website that really kind of explains what's going on with this situation. And so my hope is that we can be a lot better about that moving forward, and that Beth and I can have sort of the flexibility to be able to work with Bill to get that information up.
Okay. So has there been anything on the website at all about this?
No,
about this issue? Okay.
No, because we didn't, the Information Management Committee didn't necessarily have the authority to represent the whole board without the board's approval. So
right,
that it's basically just been
okay.
Communications.
Okay.
So, hey, Catherine, so the key
Okay,
here is
so-
we need information. We need details, both from the owner of the Dagmar property, and then what exactly, there's too much rumor floating around. We need all the details. Who's gonna live there? How many people are gonna assist the elderly in doing so? And then where it falls on these Fair Housing Act and all the other statutes that protect the human
Exactly.
resources statute.
Is it profit? Is it nonprofit? We need all that.
We need all that information so we can advise the residents,
It makes a big difference if it's going to be allowed or not.
because I want the residents to know we make no decision whatsoever on this. This is still a
No.
dialogue. This is what we're doing right now, dialogue. And we appreciate everybody's comments for getting on, because that's the way we get this thing resolved. So the board has not made any decision on any of this at all, just to be clear.
We get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So is there anything more that we need to do?
Well, is that so is am I to take that do we need a motion for that, or am I to take that from that you are kind of authorizing this ad hoc committee to also handle?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, is I'm authorizing an ad hoc committee. And Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't need a board approval in order to create an ad hoc committee, correct?
You don't need board approval to form a committee, but it'd probably be a good idea to have a motion maybe Megan can make on the interaction of the Information Management Committee with my office and putting together the information she described.
Okay.
If you can do that, Megan, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, motion to allow the ad hoc committee for the proposed, proposed community home on Dagama Court to be able to work with the attorney to put together information and disseminate information about the situation to the public.
Okay, I will second that. Okay, so do we have any more discussion about the ad hoc committee and its interaction with the technology or information management committee?
Actually, it's interaction with Bill, and that's not an issue, but I would like to make it clear, make that before you send any information to the public, that you send it to the board first.
I would also like to see if we can digress with some of the communication problems that we've been having in the neighborhood. And that if this is how it is going to go down as an ad hoc committee, that the communication goes directly through Megan and I and not through Linda, as it has created a big mess that we're trying to help people understand.
The idea would be to have information that is on the website that others can be referred to, so that we're not having.
I'm not suggesting that you don't put it on the website. I'm suggesting you send it to the board first before it goes to the website, just like you did with the limb cleanup.
I'm happy
the same reason.
I'm happy to send an email out to the board that has all of the information that's going to be on the
Okay, so
website.
do we need a vote?
Yeah,
I will go ahead
we
and
still need to
call the
vote on
vote.
the motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So now the
So,
motion includes board gets the information first before it's published. If there's any issues, we'll go straight to Bill. Okay, so we don't do a
Well,
quorum.
I perceive that, as part of, as part of the process, you're gonna, communicate to the board and then publish to the website. That's sort of how
That's how I see it happening too.
Yeah,
pretty
okay,
quick.
okay,
But it goes to the board first.
okay. And, okay, so Megan,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
I vote yes too. Okay. Okay, dokie. So, I'm trying to think, what other, do we have, let me jump.
Before we get off number 4, before we leave number 4, Catherine, Bill, did you do any look at the fair housing thing that was submitted to you at all? Did you do any looking into that at all?
Yes, of course, we did a lot of research.
And it just left you with more questions? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, without getting any legal advice details, the letter that was presented focused on the state statutes in the beginning of the letter.
All right.
So we reviewed those along with the cases related purely to the Fair Housing Act. And now it appears, subject to getting it in writing, there's been a change, and they're not pursuing, according to their attorney, they're not pursuing the state statute protections. And so that changes the analysis considerably.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
No question.
No. Okay, so.
Wow. Wow is right.
I'm sorry, we are no longer in the public comment section of the meeting. So, all non.
Not interactive. It's not interactive.
It is not an interactive meeting. That is correct.
And we are really sorry, because we understand how important this is to all of you. And that is why we're going to do this meeting again, just for you. And you will be able to talk a lot more openly on that meeting. That's why we put that meeting together, is for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I want to jump, I'm trying to, cross off some low-hanging fruit here really fast if it's possible. Agenda item 5 was a request for accommodation of unique animals for the property owner on Hannah K. Do we have the property owner on the call tonight? I'm assuming we don't.
I don't think so, Catherine.
Okay, so if I, Bill, if I remember where this was sort of left, was we've got a policy in place, we received a written application, but we're sort of missing some of the, we're sort of missing some of the details that we need in order to make the accommodation. And so I'm just going to ask that you reach out to the particular homeowner and have them get the answers so that we can complete their application for accommodation.
Catherine, I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
I make a motion that the owners of the Hanakay chickens delivered the required emotional support letter from a licensed professional, which includes the demonstrated disability-related therapeutic need for 3 of the specific unique animals. Absent the required documentation within the next 30 days, the enforcement process shall begin with the first fine. These people have been given an exception for almost a year now at the expense of their neighbor who complains every single month. It's one of those deed items that is not enforced, and it's created a nuisance for the direct neighbor. So I think we've played around with this one long enough, invested a whole lot of time on this one. So I am doing a motion to get it done once and for all, 30 days with the right documentation, or it goes into the fine process. Can I get a second?
I'm going to say that I just want to make a statement here is that we have heard you, Linda, but we do have the medical information already, and this has been dealt with already. So I don't know why we're trying to make another vote on this when it's
Thank
not
you,
something
Beth.
that you don't publicize that medical note to the world. That's not
It's
something that
on
we
the
do.
web, and I didn't publish it. It's out there. It's actually an attachment to the agenda, Beth. And I'm not
So
asking.
why
about-
would we keep, why do we want to keep bringing this up when the
because
issue's already been
the
heard?
documentation is incomplete, Beth. The documentation does not substantiate the animals. And that's the only thing that's missing. It's a redo. I thought Bill was instructed to take care of this last month when it came up, and we identified that the letter from the mental health provider mistakenly referenced the wrong animal. So now here we are another month later, still no resolution, and we're 1 year into this neighbor that's complained about this problem. So the motion is to get it done, to get the right letters so that these animals can be kept, and then that neighbor has no longer a complaint other than his right to take it to court. That never changes. So can I get a second on the motion to allow this family only 30 more days to get the appropriate documentation in place to keep those chickens?
Linda, can you define the documentation? I'll give you a second.
Yes, the documentation is an attachment number 5 out on the agenda. And the mental health provider wrote the exception for birds, not the unique animal of chickens. And based on the Fair Housing Administration and HUD's definition, the provider, the mental health provider, must specify chickens and the reason this person needs 3 of them for emotional support. It's required. It's required by the resolution we all approved for emotional support documentation. Nothing's changed, except this owner just hasn't completed the documentation. They just don't have the correct documentation.
So what you're saying in the 3rd paragraph, when it says help with these limitations, and we're recommending 3 emotional support birds.
Birds.
It should
Birds
say
are
chicken.
parakeet. If you look at the definition in HUD, birds are household pets that live in cages, like parakeet, perhaps, those kind of birds. If you go to unique animals, you'll see that's where chickens are defined, because they are not commonly kept in your home.
So am I hearing you correctly that you're asking for a second on this because you want them to be fined for this? And
because I want them to get it done, get the paperwork that says chickens and move on. I expect they're gonna get a letter that says chickens, and then we'll move
Well,
on.
they'll have to spend another $150 to go get a letter from the doctor to do
Well,
that.
I understand, the letter reads that she's under this doctor's care, so it shouldn't cost any additional money. And we can't accept the letter. It doesn't say chickens. It says birds.
Really? So to that detail, kind of has to be. to
Bill,
that detail.
Does
Yeah,
the
no,
letter
okay.
sufficient?
Let me speak for 1 second. On this issue, in general, I agree with Linda. The letter is insufficient because it only mentions birds. It doesn't comply with our policy, which is the main reason it's on the agenda tonight, to get a board decision as to how to respond to that letter officially. Our policy also says we won't enforce deed restrictions while we're still considering the request. So what Linda's attempting to do, which I'm not disagreeing with, is to have me respond, tell them their letter is insufficient, give them 30 days to provide a revised letter. And if they do, then the board will consider it. You know, we'll still consider the request in a meeting. If they don't, then we'll consider the request denied for failure to provide documentation.
So why can't we do that?
Reasonable motion.
Why can't we do that?
Give me a second on the motion and we can do it.
Yeah, I think we can do this, Art, if it
Okay,
passes.
so given that, I'll second this. Let's get the chicken in.
So we're gonna tell them that the reason that their letter is insufficient is that they need to replace the word bird
Birds.
with chicken.
Well, I'm going to point out they didn't comply with our policy and they don't identify the type of bird. And then they can provide a revised letter for consideration. I'm not going to tell them what to write in the letter.
No,
Don't
but
forget
no,
the quantity.
no,
Yeah, the
I want
quantity
them to
too.
understand why we're coming back to them. That's all I'm saying is I want them to understand that the thing that we are truly tripping over is the word bird, not chicken.
Bill, can you send them a copy of the policy?
Sure, I will.
Then now they have it, Catherine.
Yeah, I would send it to them regardless, but if this motion passes, then I'll set a deadline 30 days as well.
Casey, I'll second this motion.
Okay.
Will you call the question,
Okay.
Catherine?
Okay, wait a minute. Would you please read your motion because I want to make sure that I understood because I thought you had a lot of nuances in there that.
No nuances, but I'll read it again.
concerned me.
Here we go. The owners of the Hanakay chickens deliver the required emotional support letter from a licensed professional, which includes the demonstrated disability-related therapeutic need for 3 of the specific unique animals. Absent the required documentation within the next 30 days, the enforcement process shall begin with the first fine.
Okay. Okay, Bill, what does demonstrated therapeutic need mean?
That's in our policy, Catherine.
Yeah, I
took the word
understand
straight
that, and I understand that, but what do we have to receive in order to meet that threshold? That's what I'm really concerned about.
Well, the letter just
And,
needs,
you know, I mean,
the letter needs to specify the type of animal, and it needs to confirm that the amount of, or the number of animals required and tie it to the medical need. And again, we're not going to tell them how to write the letter. We're going to tell them that the letter doesn't comply with the policy and why.
But can't
well,
we instruct them that it can't say bird, it has to be specific to the bird type?
I will point that out to them, that stating a bird is not specific enough under our policy.
right.
Can't we just change the wording, maybe?
Yeah, but this is my concern, is I'm concerned that the concept of demonstrated therapeutic need is going to open us up to saying of passing judgment as to whether or not that's a reasonable accommodation, because we don't buy it. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't want to get into the business of having to make a judgment call on a medical professional's wording for demonstrated therapeutic need, as part of the therapy for the medical needs of a resident.
Yeah, it's not easy to get letters. So that was my concern.
Actually, Catherine, the health professional that submitted the bird letter did go into great detail and demonstrated the disability related for the birds.
Okay, so
I
then,
think,
so
I think it's
we
a
don't,
terminology thing, and we're not here to evaluate the condition.
yeah, and that's my concern. I don't want
that's
to
what
go
that
down
says.
there. So,
I think
okay,
the
so
professionals
we
can do
think-
that. We'll
Yeah,
just-
the
So
professionals do that.
So it sounds like we think we've already met the demonstrated therapeutical need part. We're just
That was
really
in the letter.
tripping on birds and chickens. Okay. Okay, if we all agree that's where we are, then okay.
That's
I'll
where
go ahead and call, yeah, I'll go ahead and call the vote. Megan,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
I vote yes too. Okay, let's just cross one more off the list here. Okay. And I think we do have agenda item 6. We've got, is it Chris? From Hunter's Glen. You still on the line?
I'm here.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. Have you submitted a request in writing to the MUD? Is that what you've done? The homeowners
Yes.
association? And you're,
We had we had a board meeting the other day and we made a motion and passed it to submit this resolution to the MUD.
okay, and so, and Bill, have you received?
Yeah, it's attached as agenda
Okay.
item 6. It's just a
Agenda
short email
Yeah,
from Chris.
yes.
So Catherine,
Okay.
the request is that the MUD stop enforcing overnight parking restrictions within Hunters Glen 1.
Okay.
And I'll just remind the board that historically we've received requests from neighborhoods to enforce or not enforce in general. And the primary example is Lakeline Oaks.
Right.
At one time, Lakeline Oaks wanted us to enforce deed restrictions, and now they've requested we not. They do have their own HOA and they have their own management company, and they enforce their restrictions. So we've respected that and stayed out of Lakeline Oaks for a while now. It's a little different situation when we're asked to enforce or not enforce a specific restriction, which is the case here. So I would be curious to know if the HOA, they do have a mandatory HOA, Hunters Glen 1, if they're going to continue to enforce it on their own or not. And maybe Chris can answer that question.
The intention is to not enforce it on our own. The main reason being is it wasn't enforced for many years when we were doing our own management. And it was arbitrarily decided to enforce it when the new president came in without any board input at the time. And so it's come up on several issues, and that's why we brought it as a board. We actually made a motion and passed it to bring this to y'all's attention.
Okay, so, so the Hunter's Glen HOA has not changed their deed restrictions. You did not go through the process of having a community vote to change the deed restrictions. Am I correct about that?
Correct.
It does, I don't know how this fits into the whole issue. Do you have the authority as a board to make the decision not to enforce something like this?
Certainly, because we're a mandatory, we're a non-voluntary HOA. So everybody's a member, everybody pays their dues. And so we as an HOA can arbitrarily decide what deed restrictions are enforced or non-enforced and to what extent. And we did that prior to having y'all come and do some of our
Okay.
enforcement.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so Bill, what do we need to do?
Well, I think it does merit some consideration. Again, historically, there was a time when Hunters Glen 1 asked us to not enforce it all. They wanted to enforce on their own. And I don't think we've been asked by a neighborhood HOA to stop enforcing a specific restriction. I don't think we've ever been asked as a MUD to do that. Over time, if it's not enforced, it could end up being waived or be non-enforceable. So we just need to decide as a board, are we going to accept the request and honor it? And if we do, I assume that we'll be looking at changing the number of night tours by Sage, because they're going into that
Right.
neighborhood. We'll have to maybe consider that at a future meeting.
Yeah, right. That's something that's all part of the mix. I guess the thing that is sort of, popping up into my mind is it an all or, I think what you're trying to say is it's an all or nothing kind of situation. Meaning in the past, it's been you enforce everything or you enforce nothing. And that's where we've been with Lakeline Oaks. Now we're, the situation we have with Valente Hills is slightly different in the sense that we don't enforce their overnight parking because their overnight parking requirements are we've deemed to be unenforceable because of how they were written. It's
in Valente Hills, it's too expensive. You have to have, the car has to show up 3 nights in a row. So you have to do triple inspections to get them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the board cannot accept this and accommodate it. I'm just saying historically, it's not been something the board's done in the past.
Bill, how many years would it have to be not enforced before it would be an abandoned restriction?
Well, there's if it's not enforced at all, is that what you're saying? Not enforced at all? It would probably take at least 4 years before court would deem it waived.
Okay.
And it would also take somebody challenging it. It's an affirmative defense. So.
Sure. Chris Lambert, I have a question for you if you're still on the line. Oh, I see you are. You have 3 residents right now currently in the pre-fine or fine stages for street parking. If the board accepts your proposal, what would you like us to do about those 3 residents and their pre-fine and fine stage for street parking?
I would leave that up to you, but my personal thoughts are that I would assume this would be, if y'all make the decision tonight, that's when it would go into effect. And so those that already owe fines still owe fines because they violated the rules when it was under y'all's authority. But anything that, going forward should not be enforced.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Is this something that's been voted on in your whole neighborhood? Because I know that if that were to happen in our neighborhood over here, people would go ballistic to know that people could park on the street at night.
HOA voted, right? The board.
The HOA has much more power than the MUD board. They can do it. But Catherine, in Anderson Mill West, there's a bunch of stuff that the MUD doesn't enforce. You don't enforce all the restrictions in our deeds. So why is it different for Chris Lambert? How come we don't want to help them with the other stuff if they choose to not enforce one thing?
Well, I disagree with your characterization that we don't enforce everything. But actually, I'm going to be quite blunt here. My concern about this whole issue is that it's my understanding that this was pushed forward by a board member because he wanted to park his commercial vehicles on the street overnight rather than finding them appropriate out of the neighborhood parking. And it's like, you know what? That's fine. You can do that. But has was that communicated to the neighborhood? Was it transparent that the reason we're getting rid of it is because I've got a board member who wants to be able to park his business vehicles on the street overnight? That's really my only concern.
Can I ask a comment about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you, these are the.
There's neighbors over
Hey.
there talking, yeah.
Yeah.
A, I've never heard that as the reason, and none of my board members that are on the board have ever brought that up. The main reason for why asking for it to not be enforced is that it unintentionally blocks the sidewalk, and then our only recourse, as y'all have stated before, is to call the police, and that just doesn't seem very neighborly.
Okay, that's fine. Megan, Art, do you have any opinions on this one way or the other as to what we should do?
No, they're severing their ties with us, basically, right?
But just for the overnight street parking, they just don't want you looking at that anymore. I don't know why you're having an issue with it. They're an HOA. They are all powerful. They have mandatory membership and mandatory dues.
Well, because we're here for the people.
They get
We're
to make
all-
rules.
But Linda,
Not
we're
the
also
mud.
here for, but after, look at what's happened this week. We need to listen to what the neighbors all want, not
The
just what a
HOA is
board wants.
responsible for their residents, not the mud. You need to look at those deeds. The power.
You know what? I also listen to what the community wants, and that's so important, Linda, because right now it's not happening in our own neighborhood. So
Yeah.
for this to come up tonight, it's pretty sensitive.
I think we should respect the elected HOA board members, and he's gone through his board and come up with this. Why are we questioning him? Why are we questioning?
Well, we
him?
don't have to vote on this, so, you know, he can do what he would like.
We have to vote to accept his request to not enforce, or we just need to tell Sage not to go there. That's real simple. Just don't look at just skip Hunter's Glen 1 at night.
Okay.
If his residents are unhappy, they'll talk.
Can
to
I make
the
one more comment real fast, if y'all don't mind?
Yeah, sure. Yes, please.
I mean, I do want to clarify that because we're a non-voluntary HOA, we have to post every one of our meetings. We have to let all of our members know they're all invited. They all know the agenda. And so, I mean, this is the only way we get stuff done. And it's not neighbors have all the opportunities to come and complain or change or whatever. And I mean, this is the first, I've never heard about the commercial vehicle. Actually, none of my board members, I take that back. One of them does have a commercial vehicle, but it's not a marked commercial vehicle. So that's why I don't understand where that issue even came up.
So then maybe we should not vote today and maybe bring this back up at the next board meeting.
I think we should
But
handle this today.
let me say something here. The board is elected by the neighborhood, by the homeowners association. They represent them, just like Valente does. They make decisions for us. And I'm good with that because I trust my representative to make a wise decision for our HOA. So if they don't want to do it and they made this decision, I don't have a problem with that because every resident of that area, of that HOA, had an opportunity to go to this meeting, hear it out, and then make their public comment and vote yay or nay. Just like when we voted, when we had Valente vote for the, what do you call it? The deck and all the upgrades we did to the pond. There was the 90% voted yes, but there was a couple that didn't want it. But the majority ruled. So I think in this case, if they're saying we don't want it, then who are we to say, okay, we won't do it?
Reasonable art.
Okay, somebody needs to make a motion.
I make a motion that we accept Hunter Glen HOA's request to stop enforcing overnight street parking.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, do we have any more discussion? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Megan?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Beth?
No.
Linda?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no too. Okay.
But before we leave this one, Catherine, because it just happens to fit, I got an email yesterday from a gentleman I think it's a gentleman in Hunter's Glen, but I think he's in 2, requesting an exception for street parking for 2 weeks while they host a family wedding. And he lives on Robbie Lane. And I didn't know where to put this on the agenda. And there was no way to, since I just got the email yesterday, there was no way for me to add it to tonight. And he wants the exception starting today through March 28th.
Well, hold on.
I don't even know if we're still not doing street parking because we still have limbs. Megan, has that ended? Never got posted.
I hope not, because we got.
Yep, it just got updated today. No.
Okay, what does it say? I didn't see it because again, that's why I asked that you send to us first because I didn't look.
I'm sorry, I can't email everybody
Okay,
every time I update the website. You can check the website.
What's the date? What's the date for parking in the street to be not enforced? How
Well,
long? How much longer?
That was March 1st.
That's what I'm saying. See, I couldn't find that on the website. So I'm asking, the limbs have not been picked up. People are still parking in the streets because they have limbs all over their front yards or what, broken trees, what have you. So how much longer are we not enforcing that anyway?
We only voted to not enforce that through March 1st.
Okay. Okay. That's what I needed to know. So now then this guy's asking for an exception for 2 weeks.
Wedding, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a family wedding or in the house, I understand.
Okay, so hold on. So day is the 15th, right?
15 through 28.
15th through the 28th. Well, let me ask this, Jimmy and Diana, what do you have? You have one tour, you have one tour between now and the 28th?
We actually have 2. No, one between now and the 28th. There's one on the, well, I can't tell you when it is, but we do have one. And then we have another one. This is the month that we have 3 tours.
How many between March 15th and March 28th?
1.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's gonna be a non-issue. If he had asked for a 6-week,
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
yeah, that would have been a different thing.
I'll
Yeah,
send
so
that email. I'll send that email to Diana and Jimmy so they have the address so that they'll know if they're in the neighborhood. If they see it, they'll know this is the address that was granted the exception.
Thank you.
well, Linda, I'm sort of looking at this as it's not that they're being granted an exception, is that they're going to receive a friendly letter. And it's not gonna happen again. So I'm really not concerned about it. You know,
Yep. Then why don't you grant them an exception since they asked?
because you're gonna use it tomorrow for me to say, why don't we just get rid of it altogether?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
no,
trust
no,
you.
no, no.
I don't trust you. So,
Then I
okay.
make a motion. I'm making a motion, Catherine. I'm making a motion that we grant this family the request that they've asked for, an exception for street parking, March 15th through March 28th, one-time exception.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Me neither.
Why? Why isn't it a good idea?
Why? Because Bill, or Art, you have to understand is that the whole concept of deed enforcement is, Linda is attacking it at every angle. And at some point she's going to say, hey, we've got an exception for this, we've got an exception for that. So let's just get rid of it. You know, she's using this whole thing that's going on Dagama Court as an opportunity to attack the deed enforcement from another direction. It's my understanding that she was very vocal to say that Rafi, this assisted living house is never going to have to worry about having fines for deed enforcement. I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen. And I'm saying, I'm not going to give you any opportunity, Linda, to destroy the deed enforcement of our community. I 25 years ago, I would have been right there with you. But once I got on this board, I really started to understand
how important it is.
Well,
And
It's
so
just
I am
gotten
not-
so out of hand and the people are so irate over the deed restrictions right now that it's even being discussed that it's all gonna go away. And it's all coming from Linda Fobb and we
Well,
just can't
I
do this right now.
I appreciate
Okay,
your
all that
gaslighting,
aside,
both
but-
of you, but unfortunately, I have a motion on the table to grant these people an
I wanna
exception.
discuss
We
this
grant
more.
exceptions all the
I want to
time.
discuss the motion a little more. So this is just an
Oh.
exception. It's an exception. Like, for example, when
For
we had
one
a
family, not the
50th
whole
anniversary for my
But
wife,
Linda, I think
I got an exception from the HOA to park cars in front of my house. How is this different? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well,
It isn't. They're just trying to predict my next move. Catherine, my
Linda,
next
that's not
move
true.
will be, it's
You
in
have
my
so
lawsuit.
many people upset right now for what you've done in the past 2 weeks. It's
Must
so
be
bad.
different.
How can we do this?
Facilitating
How can we do
dialogue.
this?
If you're referring to people being upset because I brought a homeowner forward to them so they could ask questions, I think you're the one stirring the pot, Beth. I really think it's coming
Well,
from you.
okay, then you know
That
what?
has
Then
nothing to do
produce-
with this item that I just motioned on the table. I appreciate your misdirection, but I have put a motion on the table to grant this family an exception for street parking for 2 weeks so that they can host a family wedding in their home.
And my question to that is, haven't we done this in the past? We
Yes.
have.
No, no, we have never done this ever, ever, ever. What we have had happen is people come to us and said, my mom's gonna come visit me for a week, and what am I supposed to do? And our response has always been, guess what? You know, it's a short-term thing. You might not even have, there might not even be an inspection or tour while your mother's there. We're not gonna worry about it. If she shows up and she's there for 8 weeks at a time, it's gonna be a problem.
But I don't think anybody gets married for 2 weeks. They get married for 1 day, for 1 hour.
Actually, it's a cultural wedding, Beth, and it lasts many days.
Okay, so.
I'm not concerned about it.
So-
I mean, the people are
So
gonna be.
Catherine, my
able-
question, the semantics is what we're questioning here. We can say, go ahead and do it, and we'll waive any fine that you get, or as Linda,
Exactly. Yeah. So my feeling is, like I said, I don't anticipate that this is going to result in a fine. It's not going to result in it. The most it's going to result in a friendly letter. It's not going to result in a second friendly letter. It's not going to result in a pre-fine. It's not going to result in a fine. So I am not going to set the precedent that we are going to start having motions waiving the enforcement of deed restrictions. I do not want to go down that path.
okay, I
at all.
understand your point now. I understand the point, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So my motion needs to be recorded, and without a second.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about, okay, we've done 4, we've done 5, we've done 6. Well, gee whiz, let's go to agenda item 2, management report from Sage Management. Are you going to screen share? What are we gonna do?
I don't, you all have your agendas and your summaries and your reports.
Yes, I've got it in front of me on my computer.
So I was going to go over the summary of violations.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. On the day violations in February, we had 5 trash cans in view. I wanted to let the board and the committee know, I had to update you all. Well, the committee does know about this. We had 3 friendlies sent in HG2. Section 15 had 1 and section 21 did not, had 1, I'm sorry. But on the friendlies for HG2, we have an active violation there that I did not send the letter because we had a report from the resident that there had been deed enforcement restriction interference from a board member outside of the DRC committee. So instead of sending the letter, I went ahead and put it as pending for a committee review and legal review and reported the
What are
interference.
you, which one are you on? I can't keep up with you with your cryptic speak.
Can, Diana, can you
What are
help
you
us?
talking about?
Is that something that's happened since the storm?
The address because I have to protect the privacy of the resident.
What are we talking? Trash cans in view, open storage, unregistered cars, boat trailer? What are we talking
If you read your list is trash cans in view. And we're talking about the friendlies and I already said the numbers.
And which one had to go to legal because somebody interfered? What are you talking about?
I'll repeat it.
Please do.
The resident reported that there was outside interference from a board member outside of the committee giving information regarding deed enforcement.
Who was it?
You better tell who the resident is too, because you know that's coming next.
No.
I have sent it to the committee for their review and to legal.
Good. Committee and legal, please send me
I'm
that.
moving on to open storage. We had one friendly. There was an appliance, it's been taken care of. And we also had one fine that was related to an issue that had been escalated to legal. The letters that were sent for the fine were reviewed by legal and they did confirm that we were using the correct deed enforcement information. We had 4 unregistered cars. 2 were friendlies. They've already been taken care of. We had 1 that was on the fine and there was a payment plan set up for committee directive. And that vehicle has also been taken care of now at this point. The 2 for the boat trailer, we had a duplicate letter sent because it was sent to the owner as well as the tenant. The trailer showed up originally during the pandemic protocol period. It did not show up a year ago, as has been stated by Linda Fabre. It showed up in June. It was in the middle of the pandemic protocol. We were directed to send friendlies through the pandemic protocol. The tenant was going to move and then something happened and did not move. This was confirmed by the landlord and the owner of the resident. Either way, there was a pre-fine letter sent in February and a fine letter, and the trailer has now been removed and taken care of.
To the trailer that we have a picture of, correct?
Sage has pictures of it, photo stamped and dated, so we can
Send me the pictures.
history that we can prove when it started, when it came out of pandemic protocol, when it was removed in October and then didn't come back until late December. And we have
Diana, send me those pictures by tomorrow.
Oh. On the DRC committee,
Diana, you've already been told I am a member of this board and you will send me that information.
Bill, can you
You're
help
not
us
going
on
to
this?
sit here
That's
and accuse me
harassment.
of things without backing them up. That's not going to happen another day, not one more day.
I'm moving on.
So
Bill,
what is?
we can't have you harassing people, Linda. That's what's
mind your
happening to the
business.
neighbors. No,
Mind
I
your
am gonna
business.
mind my business. You're doing it to the neighbors and now you're doing it to the board.
You're
Your
lying.
own board.
You're
I'm
lying.
not
You're going
lying.
to prove it. You're going to prove it, or you're going to be deposed and prove it.
Then show the
Take your
video
pictures.
of, show the video of on Dagama Court.
I have it.
Show it to all of us.
I
Let's
will.
stay on task. Let's stay on task.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about here. Listen,
Diana is going to be sending me the pictures about some trailer. She's going to send me evidence of something in Hunter's Glen too that she's trying to link me to. And she's going to send me that by tomorrow, or things will be changing real quick.
What does that
'Cause I'm
mean?
So
tired of
glad
it.
that the neighbors are
I'm
still on
tired of
this
it.
call. I'm
I
so
don't
glad the
understand what
neighbors are
that
on this.
means.
Me too, Beth.
Let them see you.
Listen, I don't understand. Okay, what threats are you making here, Linda?
I am making a promise that Diana Sagnis will send me information to substantiate what she's saying, or I will request it under open records, and then we can all go to TCEQ and explain why this board director is not being given information. We can all work this together. You're not going to do this in order to stack your deck here. If she's going to accuse me of something, she's going to show it, because right now all we have is her word, and we know she's not truthful. We know that.
Please stop with the name calling. It's
No.
unbelievable.
That's not making
You sit there quietly while she makes accusations that are not substantiated? I don't think so.
Linda,
We have.
Move on.
knock off the.
Move on.
It's
I think
inappropriate.
we all understand who the person is who lies to us.
Yes.
Okay, yes,
It's
Yes.
good. It's becoming more clear, isn't it?
it's you. Okay, so let me just make sure that I understand what the bee in your bonnet is all about. Is that you're upset that a resident is saying, I don't want Linda harassing me.
No.
Is that
What
is that
I'm
what's going
upset
on?
about is Diana Sagnis claiming that a resident in Hunters Glen 2 has made that statement. Let's hear from that resident. She does this all the time and she never substantiates it. It's kind of like, I have these waiver letters, but she never produces them. So those days are over. She's going to bring forth the record because her contract says she shall have the records, or
Listen,
this
Linda,
doesn't work.
Linda, showing you the pictures is not going to make you is not going to satisfy you. So
Yes, it
I'm
will.
not going
You
to
don't
argue.
know. You don't know what's going to satisfy me. What's going to satisfy me is when she identifies the resident in Hunters Glen 2 and the pictures of some trailer that she's talking about. That will satisfy me, because right now I don't know what she's talking about. So that, Catherine, is going to come to a screeching halt.
I don't know how to. I mean, I'm not going to argue about another board member, wanting to dig into the pictures that are taken during the tours. What I'm really not comfortable about, though, is when we've got residents saying, this woman, I don't want to be harassed by Linda Fobb. Please don't communicate what I've said to you to Linda Fobb, and she wants to use Open Records Act now to find out which residents are talking smack about her.
You know what I'm hearing, Catherine? I'm hearing you guys make up a whole lot of stories without any facts to back it up. You got something to back it up, you show it to me. You identify the resident. I will accept nothing
Let our
less.
attorney talk. Catherine asked our attorney a question. I would like to hear his answer, please.
I didn't hear the question.
That's what
Obviously.
she said. She directed that to Bill. I want to hear his answer.
Not sure what the question was either, Catherine. What was the question?
The question is I don't know, it's one thing for us to say, I don't have an issue with Linda seeing, all the photo documentation about that. What I'm not comfortable with is when we know that we have people who are residents who do not want to be harassed by Linda, who specifically are saying, I do not want her contacting me. I do not want to be intimidated by her. I don't want her sending David Flores to see me. I don't want her sending Sarah Teal after me. I don't want to be intimidated by one of Sarah's et al. People. And I don't know how to protect my residents from that kind of harassment. That's my frustration.
That's the whole thing that we're all dealing with. That is very difficult, as people said at the beginning of this call today.
we don't know how to help people anymore.
I do, truth. So I will take the truth.
We're
I
still
want
waiting for
those
Bill's
res-
answer, Linda.
There was no question.
There was a question. There was a question because you are demanding of our contractor that they send you information from a resident who sent it in confidence. And so I want to hear what Bill has to say about that. Do we need to send it to you? You don't get to make demands. This is a board.
Tammy, maybe rephrase the question.
There's
Can
not,
we make a resolution to not share it?
you have to have a legal basis for that. So let me back up, and we've gone through this before in different meetings. Linda is a board member, so to the extent there's district records, in general, she's entitled to those records. She does have a pending lawsuit against the district, which is extremely broad now. It's been broadened, which deals with deed restriction enforcement. And so there will be, along the way, there'll be some information that she's not entitled to because of that lawsuit. Just because a resident wants to keep something confidential doesn't mean we can do that. And that we've learned that through open records requests. And we learned that through other instances where an owner doesn't want anything disclosed, but we may legally have to disclose it. So in this case, if we have a district record, even if the person said, I don't want a certain director, whatever director it is, doesn't have to be Linda. I don't want a director to see that unless we have a legal basis to exclude that from a certain director, then they're entitled to those records. Now, if the information is misused in any way by any director, that creates a different situation to be addressed by the board. And we're actively still, Megan and Beth, you know this, we're actively working on communication policy, which is going to include some of those things in it. Also, if there's some kind of legal cause of action for whatever is done with the information, then we can deal with it at the time. But preventing the information from going to any director, if it's a district record, is not possible. Now, when the director gets that information, it likely will not be redacted. So a lot of it could be confidential and they should handle it accordingly. And that's, you know, so I don't have a strong legal reason to say this. I can't tell you I've looked at the things being referred to in any detail, but I don't know that we have a strong reason to exclude them from any director, legal reason.
Okay. Well,
with that being said, I got a
actually,
question for Linda. Linda, with that information, what will you do with it?
See if it's valid.
Okay, let's say it's valid and you get that information. What are you going to do with it?
Nothing.
Okay, you're just validating. You're just validating.
I'm validating.
Okay, so you're not going to take it and tell the other neighbors what happened, or you, as a board member, you're going to just validate our contractor's work.
That's right.
Okay.
And I'm already doing their performance review. So, and another thing, and Bill, this will be helpful. They need this help. They seem to really struggle with the concept that committees are not decision makers. Other than waiving fines, the DRC has no more authority than any other board member. They're not the only ones who get to talk to residents about deed items or enforcement items or anything else. It is not just Beth and Catherine who are all knowing about things related to the deed. They don't get to make all the decisions. And Jimmy and Diana Sagnas don't have exclusive rights to only share with Catherine and Beth. That's not how it works. It's a 5-member board. So when I ask for something, unless it's directly related to my lawsuit, which nothing I have asked for is, then you need to surrender that information and you need to do it immediately, not bounce it back and forth. Immediately. When I ask, I'm asking for a reason. So I'm reviewing your performance, Sage Management. When I ask for information, I expect it. I don't understand what the problem is.
So Bill, let me respond to what you said. What I heard you say was there are some issues that are in play because of Linda's lawsuit. With that said, I think that the appropriate thing to do is then that everything relating to DRC needs to go through your eyes before it goes to Linda. Because what we don't know is we don't know how she's looking to use information that she's gathering as a board member to use it against us in her lawsuit, or she's already amended her petition once. She might decide that she's seen something else and as a board member, and she's going to use that to amend her petition a second time. So what I think what we need to do then is to protect the board and the district from this outside lawsuit is that everything as it relates to the DRC needs to go through you before it goes to Linda, so that it can be evaluated from the context of the lawsuit that she is suing us for.
I don't have any problem with that, Catherine. You know what I find kind of comical about what you just said? It's almost if you have to worry about anything I might see could be bad enough where I'd amend my lawsuit and include it. Are you really that worried that you haven't followed the law?
No, it's not that at all. I just
Then
have
you shouldn't
this.
worry. If
No,
you're doing it right, you got nothing to worry about.
Question, Jimmy, Diana, do you have that information she's seeking from you?
The information regarding the resident with the trash can in view letter that's pending?
That and the other items you mentioned.
To answer your question, the resident cited Linda's own words from a meeting where she said that she was not, she was putting her own disclaimer on deed enforcement because she was not, didn't want her name added to that little blurb about deed enforcement on the website because she didn't agree with it. He cited that. He also cited a statement that she said in a meeting that if she wanted to have her trash can out 24/7, 365 days a year, she could. He used her words when he gave us his, you know, when he came out and reported this.
Good. Diana, you will send me his name and his address in Hunter's Glen too, and you will send me the trailer accusation as well. Bill, do either one of those have anything to do with my lawsuit?
Actually, Bill, can't this go through you to Linda?
Oh yeah, you can have.
I mean, I would think just, I mean, for some of
I want to make a recommendation just to try to get this in order. So there are going to be certain items that I probably should review in relation to the lawsuit. So if there's a request for information, I don't want the request necessarily to come to me. The people responding, in this case, if be Sage, is responding to the request Linda has. They can send that to me. First, I'd like them to identify what it is and send it to me so I don't have to research it. And then I'll review it to see if there's any legal reason not to release it to Linda, and I'll send it to Linda or any other board member that's requesting similar information. And if the board's okay with that process, I'll probably be able to turn those around pretty quickly. Maybe not same day, Linda, but I'll turn them around pretty quickly. But I really can't comment on information that's been presented tonight as to whether it should automatically be released until I look at it. And because frankly, I'm not sure that I've paid much attention to it up to this point, whatever it is.
I know, it's just board members fighting with each other. I understand.
So I'll be happy to be the reviewer. If it's sent to me, you know, and identified, I'll be happy to review it before it goes on.
Tell me something, Bill. Well, you have the floor because this is on this monthly summary. There's 2 fencing issues, and one of them says it was reviewed and confirmed by legal. So the only thing I know about fencing issues is that they require the opinion of a committee. I am assuming this ACC committee. So if you're reviewing these and confirming their accuracy, are you now the ACC for Amwana?
Of course not, Linda. You know the answer is
So,
no.
so
But
why on
I
earth?
have a different legal interpretation than what you just stated.
Okay, so what would your review about a fence letter? What would you be involved in that for? Fencing issues. One fine letter for fencing.
Well, okay, again, I don't want to get in a lot of detail in an open meeting because it involves legal advice. And to the extent that you've given your opinions in open meetings, and I have not challenged every one of them in open meeting because I don't think that's the way to give legal advice. But on fencing, your opinion is there has to be an ACC determination. Well, actually, if you apply to all maintenance issues, there has to be an ACC determination. And I read the restriction differently than you.
So it doesn't need a condition and repair assessment? You didn't read that in there?
I have a different opinion than you. I've read the declaration. I have a
Okay,
different opinion.
and that's not a legal opinion. That's what is that considered your legal opinion?
Yes.
You can't tell me what you think it means.
Well, I don't want to explain in an open session.
Okay.
Okay. But I do just disagree with your general assertion that you need an ACC determination.
We can't keep having these meetings where you tell me everything is your legal opinion and you can't tell me. And then we never have a meeting where you actually share those opinions. Because until you do, I'm going to continue to interpret it this way.
Okay.
So
that's fair, Linda. If you didn't have a lawsuit pending, this would be a lot easier.
Yeah, unfortunately, until that's resolved, we're going to have to work around it.
Right. And I'm not disagreeing with that part. I'm just telling you on the specific maintenance fencing issues that you asked, did we review? We did.
Okay.
And I don't agree with your opinion on what it says.
Okay, but my lawsuit has nothing to do with that article in the.
Well, I think it does. No, I think it has a lot to do with the maintenance part.
My lawsuit?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I guess if you can attach everything to it that way, it's not going to work unless you tell me what that means. I need to, if I'm not interpreting
if you challenge the ACC, say the ACC doesn't exist, and then you interpret a restriction to require an ACC determination, which I disagree with that interpretation, then that applies to your lawsuit. Your lawsuit is to invalidate the ACC.
Let me put you to rest here. And I'm glad Rafi's still on the line, because I told her she needed to fill out an ACC request form. Despite what I think about the ACC, until a judge rules on that, that's the rule she has to follow. It's written on the MUD's website. It's in their district rules. If you don't believe that that's the song that I sing, then you can ask her. She's on the line. I don't share my personal opinions and tell people to act based on what I think. So that has nothing to do with my lawsuit. I'm supporting that you're citing fences under that maintenance clause, but then I want that clause abided by. You can't pick and choose which ones you're going to apply the ACC to and which ones you're not. It says in there that you have to apply it. Even if it's not the ACC.
Linda, can I ask a question? Are you actually challenging our lawyer?
I am questioning your lawyer. Yes.
Linda, you have an opinion on reading that restriction.
Yes.
That requires, this is the simplest way, but it requires an ACC determination.
Yes.
And I do not read it that way.
Okay. You don't. Okay. So it doesn't need a determination then?
Not for us to enforce. The reading is the determination. If there's a ruling by the ACC,
yes,
it's determinative. It's the final say on it.
Yes.
But if there is no ruling, then it's not final. So there doesn't have to be a ruling for us to enforce.
Okay.
If there is a ruling, like let's say the ACC rules, the fence is fine, it doesn't need repaired. If they made that ruling, then we would be bound by that.
Then you would not enforce.
Correct. But the opposite's not true. If they haven't made a specific ruling.
I can live with that, Bill.
Okay.
I can live with that. Now that you've made that clear, I can live with that. I don't understand why it applies sometimes and not others, but that's okay. So, so there is not going to be any ACC condition and repair assessment for fences.
No, there is. We have an ACC.
They're not Okay, the difference, Beth,
It
is
doesn't have to be.
whether it's required, okay?
Yeah.
If there is one, we'll abide by it, but it's not required to, for us to enforce.
Okay,
And that was what I reviewed.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so Jimmy and Diana, where were we? I think we were at 1 trailer, 2 dumpsters, 1 pod.
Yes, per committee directive, I just am, we haven't figured out how Sage is going to be compensated for monitoring those because those are not under deed enforcement. So the pictures have been sent to the committee for their review. That is still on the table. We haven't had a chance to discuss how we want to handle that. I do want to tell you though that one of the trailers that we have been chasing down, they have actually started working on that home, and we have a letter to the new owners of that home that is going to be doing the remodeling and asking them to move the remodel trailer behind the site or the workers to take it with them when they finish at the end of the day. So if it comes and goes as a work trailer, it is within the deed restrictions rules.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have
That,
2 dumpsters that are still in the neighborhood then?
Yes, and those are related to, one was a firehouse and then the other one was a water issue that happened during the winter storm.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we had a long discussion about fencing, about the letters. What did you have to say about the
The
fencing?
main reason that I made sure that the pre-fine letter and the fine letters were reviewed and confirmed by legal is because we have been questioned that we're not putting the right information on there. So instead of, just putting it out there, we asked for legal confirmation on what needs to be on the letter. And that was what we wrote as directed by legal. And that's what we sent out to the people, to the residents.
Okay. Okay, so overnight parking, this is it then?
I do want to let you all know that in section 16, I wrote down that it was a friendly, 2 friendlies, but we actually had a pre-fine notification that went out, and we have worked with that resident since then because they also had extensive tree damage, and we are working closely with them to help rectify the situation.
Great. Has there been any other issues since the storm that we need to be aware of?
The main issue that we've had is, and it was brought up during the public commentary, there has been a boat that has been reported. The part that wasn't, it's not that we're not following up on it. We've been working with those people, but they had a counter complaint that they have been antagonized and harassed by the person filing the complaint, to the point that they felt threatened. So when we encountered this a few months ago, legal had told us that all we could do is tell people to call the sheriff if they feel threatened. And that's what we're having to tell people when it comes down to this one resident with the complaints. Sage feels threatened by some of the texts that we get from this resident. So I'm sure that the residents that are subject to the harassment are feeling harassed and threatened as well.
What a
Okay.
story.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it.
No, that's not it. We're going to talk about their report.
Well, hold on, I'm just saying that was it for your tour report for February, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, so, agenda item 3.
Wait,
pending
we're not done
appeals-
with 2. We're not done with 2.
What?
Yeah, I know you'd like to move on, but we're not done with agenda item number 2. I want to talk about their report, their letters, what they're not reporting.
Are you talking about the email that you sent out just a few hours before the meeting?
I am talking about that. I gave you a heads up.
It's not on the agenda.
It's part of the report. It is on the agenda.
Yeah, it is part of the report, but it also, I perceive it as to be part of the, part of the review process that we are in the midst of dealing with.
No,
So-
actually, that's a separate, I have a separate email for the performance review of Sage. This is directly
Well,
related to their report.
The performance review, is being taken over by Art and myself.
No, you're not, you can do it too, but Catherine, you and Art had the information a year ago and did nothing. I'm gonna continue their review. So let's go about the report. Stay on agenda.
Let me reiterate what happened last month, in that I dissolved the ad hoc committee that was you and Megan. And so if you want to continue doing your review, that's fine. When you're finished with it, because it's going to be a non-approved activity, a review activity, I'm going to instruct you then to give it to Bill.
I've been giving it to you guys every single month for 4 months. So far, nothing has improved. Nothing. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until it changes.
Well,
now let's talk about the report.
What I'm trying to tell you is that Art and I we're okay with the whole concept. What we were not, what none of the board was comfortable was with you know, having an agenda at, where you wanted to end up, and then doing your audit and your review to justify the conclusion that you wanted to make. And that's what I'm, and that's really
you know what,
I'm
Catherine,
trying to talk about.
I'm getting really tired of you doing that. I have done a thorough review with documentation every single month. If you deny what you're looking at, that's on you, okay? That's on you. But I'm reporting what I see, just the facts. And if you're okay with that, that's on you.
And you know what? I am, you know what? You are spending a lot of time because you've got an agenda, you've got a personal agenda, a place where you want to end up. And I understand that.
You don't know where I want to end up.
Oh, I think all of us know where you
Well,
are.
I think you believe you know, but you really don't. So let us move back to the report and identify the problems here, because they impact the residents, okay? The people you care about.
I'm ready to move on to agenda item 3.
So you do not want to know the problems inside of this report. Art, are you interested?
Listen, Linda, you've already communicated your concerns to us. I want to move on to agenda item 3.
Because you don't want the rest of the neighborhood to hear what Sage Management is doing in the neighborhood?
I think Sage Management is doing a fabulous job.
Of course you do. Of course you do, Catherine.
Well, we're in the car with them and we watch what happens, Linda. You're not with them.
Tell me about the trailer on Buckeye and why it's allowed to sit without consequences, or the open storage on Birch. This one's
okay. I'm going to move that we shut down discussion.
And I'm going to publish it,
item 2.
And I'm going to publish it.
Yeah, wait a minute, Bill. We've got an issue here where
you
we've
don't
got
have an
a
issue.
board member who is going
do,
to
Linda.
publish-
If you're not going to let me discuss it in this meeting, the only option I have.
Okay, what are we supposed to do here when we've got a rogue board member that is going to publish information, I'm assuming on social media, that has not been vetted and approved by the board?
Well, to the extent it's providing confidential information, it's a problem. And then otherwise, it's going to be part of our communications policy when we adopt it.
And Bill, what is my recourse if I have a board president that refuses to discuss issues inside of a public meeting? What's my recourse? She does not want to acknowledge the problems with this report.
So some of these questions are not legal questions, obviously. So Linda, I don't know what your exact recourse is on that. The only comment I have on the information, if it's being released, that it cannot be confidential.
It won't be.
And to the extent we complete our communications policy, that it be in compliance with that policy. But we don't have that to present yet. We're still working on it. Maybe at the Wednesday meeting.
So for all the people on this line, know this, this board is not interested in you knowing how Sage Management is working inside of this district, because there are people that are not being
Linda,
invited for
we're
their
with them when they drive around. We are in the car with them.
You are not.
So are you
time.
saying that they're driving over here without somebody? Are you with them? It's not even your committee.
Yes.
So how do you know?
Doesn't
It's
need to
not
be
your
my
committee.
I've seen Jimmy Sagnas in the neighborhood many times. I follow him for a while. He's by himself.
Now we've heard
You're
that
not with
too.
him. You're not with him.
Not
And
every
here's the
time,
deal.
no.
I don't know how many times you need to be
Linda, are
reminded,
these
Beth.
mistakes
You're a
or are these-
committee.
are-
You're not
are
a
these-
decision maker. You're
Neither
not a
are
decision
you,
maker.
Linda. You keep thinking that you get to decide everything.
I
and you
don't. I'm
don't.
protecting the people in this neighborhood, which
Oh
is
my
what my
gosh.
lawsuit's
It's
all
just
about.
like what you're doing on Dagama Court, right? And
Right.
stirring the pot and stirring the
you
pot
stir
with all
that
of them.
pot.
Skip 40.
Oh, you
Yeah.
stir the pot. Look at close the next door.
Okay,
Look
we're
at
gonna, okay, I'm gonna make a resolution. I'm gonna
It's a
make a
motion,
motion
Catherine.
to close
Yeah,
discussion on
I want to
agenda
review
item
this. I don't want to
2.
review it in the open. I want to review these notes, and then at the next board meeting, I'll address some of them. Since you and I are on the ad hoc, Catherine, we can talk about this.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Okay. So
so,
let's not address
okay.
it here in the public. Let's
Yes.
review these. Then maybe we'll have to work with you, Lindon, where you saw this, and you can provide the information how you saw it, and then we can make a determination.
The pictures.
That sound good?
okay. Okay. Agenda item 3, pending appeals of fines for violations for district rules. What are the pending appeals that we have before us, Jimmy or Diana?
We do not have any new pending appeals.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
my darling.
So, agenda item 7, minutes from prior DRC meeting. Okay, public comments.
So you should have actually 2 sets in the attachment. That's number 7
January 18th.
and the February meeting.
The February 15th meeting minutes are missing motions, the summaries that were voted on that have to be there. These are the worst minutes ever. They are missing motions, including, Catherine, your very first motion to end discussion. And it recorded my votes incorrectly. And Diana, or whoever, Jimmy, who's ever taken the minutes, when I vote and add a statement for the record, I expect that statement to be in the record. So here's what's wrong with February 15th, and I'm going to go real fast because I want Diana and Jimmy to rewatch that meeting the way I did today for 3.5 hours so they can get it right. But item number 6 on the agenda was a vote taken to improve the minutes to a brief summary and either no action taken or identify the actions. These minutes do not reflect the instructions given to Sage Management, and it had a unanimous board vote. The minutes are missing the entire discussion, directives, and agreements for the storm cleanup effort, pursuing insurance coverage for trees, no enforcement of rubbish or street parking during cleanup, communication about the effort, website updates, and the pursuit of disaster relief funds, all missing from the meeting minutes. When I vote and add a statement for the record, I expect to see it on the minutes. In item number 3, appeals, the old mill fence and shrubs, was not included my recorded statement. I voted no because Sage and the committee could not produce the written appeal. So Diana, make a note. I want to see the written appeal for the fence on Old Mill and El Solito that you couldn't get to last month because you didn't have electricity. The Melba Pass, the minutes are saying, Catherine, that you approved the waiving of fines for that address with the 2 unregistered vehicles that have been there for over a year. You did not approve the waiving of fines. You did a motion to give them a payment plan. So it's recorded wrong in the minutes. Beth Jones seconded that motion, not Art, the way it's recorded. You did a motion to, also under agenda 3, to end discussion. You motioned to stop the discussion about why the violations on Melba Pass were halted during the pandemic protocol when other residents continued to be fined. Art seconded that motion. Catherine voted yes. I voted no, and added to the record that it is because it's not fair to treat residents differently, and all others voted yes. Catherine recalled the vote to offer Melba Pass a payment plan. I abstained from that vote, not voted no. I abstained pending the release of the appeal request. I did not vote no as recorded in the minutes. 3104 Birch. Catherine motioned a payment plan. Beth seconded. This isn't even recorded in the minutes. Discussion included records do not substantiate claim that this second appeal request from this address. I asked this to be considered a first appeal. Art agreed to consider this a first request. Delayed consideration until the meeting on the 27th to resolve the timeline. I sent every board member a complete timeline of the Infomark fine history and the meeting minutes, and they do not reflect that the waiver was ever granted. Art agreed to review it and added that if there was no record, we could consider it as an initial appeal and improve to waive the fine. And as you know, that turned out no appeal was ever delivered, and all of you voted yes, pretend it happened anyways. So those minutes are horrible. And if Sage is not capable of taking minutes, then we need to get Lee in here to do it because she's the only one who does it right.
Okay, so what I just heard you was that we need to redo our minutes, and that's fine. Okay, so agenda item 8, deed restriction enforcement actions pending with district attorney. Okay, Bill, what's that?
Okay, so I don't have a lot to report from last time. We did get a default judgment against the property owner at Tierra Blanco. And that judgment, it takes 30 days to be final. We got it on March 2nd. And when it's final, we'll go into execution stage. It awarded attorney fees and injunctive relief. The owner did not appear, so we got a default judgment. There's really no other updates on the other actions at this time versus the last time I provided an update.
Okay, so Jimmy or Dan, I've been out of the neighborhood for 2 weeks. I haven't been driving around. What's the status on the corner at 2700 Tierra Blanco? Yeah, I know that the car is gone, and
we did have one photo documented violation of the trailer with being used as open storage earlier in the month. And we have sent them a fine letter as directed because at the time they had not gone to court because of the winter storm. So they have that. The fencing issue, the fence has still not been corrected or fixed. At this point, it's pretty dilapidated. But we move forward with sending them letters as directed.
Okay, so
we need to move forward with the normal processes. You'll recall this is an owner who's actually paid all the fines.
Yeah, I know. That's the part that's the most strange part of the whole thing. I just want, you're fine, we filed a lawsuit, we got a default judgment. I just want the trailers to go away, the open storage to go away. And I'm still not seeing the path to that end at this point.
They're gone. They're gone.
On
The
what,
yard
on
cleaned
last,
up, the trailer's gone. What do you want?
on last
No,
tour,
it's
the
not
trailer
gone.
was gone.
The trailer was gone on the last tour, but the
I live
fence,
right around the corner from it. Trust me when I tell you it's gone.
the pallets, so many of the pickets are missing that all the open storage that was outside of the fence is now inside the fence, and you can see it.
Okay. Well, so I keep thinking that eventually this person is going to, pick up the phone or something like that, or send an email. So,
I'll go knock on his door.
okay. So is that it at this point, Bill? That's all you have to communicate?
Yes, that's all.
What about
Okay.
London Lane, Bill? What's going on with London Lane?
Well, there's no change from last time. We attempted to negotiate a settlement, and the attempt so far has failed.
Did I see in your billing some discovery on that address?
Yeah, there's some discovery pending in the lawsuit that we have to respond to.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's taken a turn. It's no longer settling.
Correct. It's not settled.
We had a whole bunch of stuff that we were supposed to discuss in closed session on the 24th of February that never happened.
Correct.
Do you have that pending for the next agenda?
Subject to speaking to Catherine about it.
We need to really get this resolved.
Okay, but wait a minute. Isn't the agenda for Wednesday already set?
Yeah, it's not gonna be Wednesday.
I was thinking the
Okay.
next Wednesday.
Okay, the week from Wednesday. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So we've already, so let's circle back then to agenda item 9. I guess this is where we would talk about, is there anything that we need to put on the meeting from a week from Wednesday?
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have an opportunity to talk about it Wednesday too, but if anybody has it.
Okay.
Remember, the third meeting is the one where if committees, it's mostly for committees have action items to let me know. So I can put them on there. The idea is we don't put just every committee, every report.
Right.
Standing
Right.
item, because it's a lot of times it's not action. So that agenda has not gone out in draft form. And it'll probably be a short window to respond, but if anybody has anything they want to put on it, they need to let me know, send an email.
Here, Bill, I'm going to give you one right now so that we get it, so that they're aware it's coming. I want to review the Sage Management performance that I've started so far. I'm going to describe the process that I've used and where I'm going next on that. So please add that to next Wednesday's meeting. And then I want you to add also, if you would, an agenda item to amend Sage Management's contract. We just discussed it with Chris Lambert's change as well, where we adjust the number of tours and we adjust the rates and we take care of it so that they're actually performing in accordance with their contract, because they currently do not. And I wanted to ask a question, Catherine, Committee DRC. What time in the night would a car on the street be considered parking overnight? Is it after midnight?
Bill, correct me if I get this wrong. The way the process works is that to be cited for overnight parking, a car has to be identified before midnight and after midnight. So it gets photo documented,
Why does it need the first? Why does it need the first photo if it means that it's only considered a violation if it's there, if midnight is the magic hour? Then wouldn't anything photographed after that magic hour automatically be in violation?
I'll let Bill answer the question.
So if the restrictive covenant has a time in it, any car parked after a certain time or whatever, we would go by that. The overnight phrase is subject to interpretation. And for quite some time, my recommendation has been, if the car is there before midnight and it's still in the same spot around the time people would start getting up, people get up early. You get up pretty early, Linda, I think, but people typically don't get up to maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. Well, if it's there at 11 and it's also there at 3 or 4 in the morning, then it's been there overnight. We have had people come in and say, hey, I work night shift, so I just got home at 1 o'clock and you guys, it's only been there 5 minutes and you wrote it up as being overnight. So that's why we do 2 inspections.
Has that happened recently? Here's what I'm thinking. I think we would. I don't know that it serves us to do the 2 photos. I don't see the value in that. I think if street parking is anything after midnight, okay, because what I'm seeing is the first tour, it happens between 9 and 10, sometimes a little later, and then the next one happens an hour or 2 later. There's not enough distance to say that it's been there a length of time.
There are actually families that do come in at or near midnight, and we have gotten responses from families that are late workers and come in as a group. So yes, it does happen.
So if they weren't there and let's just say you started at 9, if they weren't there and got a 9 o'clock photo, but you did see the car there after midnight, are they considered not violating that restriction?
If you looked at our reports, that is exactly correct. If I do not have a timestamp before midnight and after midnight, it is not included. And that is what legal asked us to do, and that is what we have done.
Yeah, and there's always been, as long as I've been on the board, it has always been a 2-step process that you have to be identified before midnight and you have to be identified after midnight.
I'm just not understanding the rationale behind it, but I'm sure when we get to that in the next Wednesday's agenda, if you will do your digging, Catherine, and figure out how that ever came about, that would be very helpful. Because our team
Linda, it came about because it's my recommendation.
It was your
recommendations for years to properly interpret the term overnight.
Okay.
So that it's one of those things that, yes, maybe not recently, we haven't had a lot of people show up, but in the past, it's probably been more than 5 years. In the past, we've had a number of people show up and say, no, I wasn't there overnight. I just got there at 4:30 a.m. And I was only there 15 minutes and you sent me a citation. Of course, we waived those fines.
Sure.
But it's the whole idea of having 2 overnight inspections when the restriction says overnight. Now, if you were writing it properly, you would say cars can't be there between midnight and 5, or you'd say, 2 and 5. And that's how a lot of ordinances are for cities. That would be great, but it says overnight. There is some experience we've had with years ago with another HOA in a lawsuit where Williamson County judge interpreted overnight in a very dramatic way. And so, so we've gone with this interpretation. It's all coming from my office. So there's nothing for Catherine to research.
That's fine.
Well, I was just gonna respond. This is the way Bill always said it had to be. It had to be 2 times because we had to have a photo before and we had to have a photo afterwards. So that's my recollection of the way it is.
And that's correct. That's correct. That came from me.
Okay. Okay, so agenda item 10, I need somebody to make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Linda. I will
Okay.
second that. Everybody say aye.
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 Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.